impossible to separate any part of our lives from God. He's everywhere, involved in all things, and fully attentive to our lives. Let's read how David described this in Psalm 139, verses 7 to 12. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. Brother Lawrence wrote about practicing the presence of God. He didn't write about where to find God's presence. He knew the same truth that David wrote about. God is everywhere. We cannot hide from him. We cannot get away from his presence. However, we can become blind and deaf to him. We need to be aware of him in the ordinary, daily things of life. We'll look at some practical tips from Brother Lawrence in a bit, but first, it's important to remember that we cannot do anything apart from our Creator. That includes living a sacramental life. Let's read what Luke wrote in Acts 17, verse 28. He's just reminded his readers that God gives everyone life and breath. For in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. Paul was speaking to a Greek audience. In this verse, he quoted some of their poets. In the same way Jews might quote from the Old Testament to make a point, and Christians quote from the Old and New Testaments, Greeks in Paul's day often quoted from poets like Homer and others. Paul used something they knew well to point them to the truth that we don't create gods. Instead, God created us. We only have life because of him and for his glory. John recorded Jesus' words speaking the same truth with different imagery. Let's read John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. In this case, Jesus is speaking to a Jewish audience, his disciples. All Jews at that time would have been very familiar with vineyards. Vines that grew in that region were large and strong. The branches, however, were weak. Jews knew that if a branch came off the vine, it would dry out and die. Jesus said that remaining in him, like a branch that remains attached to the vine, is what allows us to bear fruit. It's what allows us to live sacramental lives. We cannot separate any part of our lives from God. His presence is everywhere. We tend to forget this amazing truth. The way we remember it is by a sacramental life, or seeing him in the ordinary things every day.